It's time for us to move on now, take a look at domestic football. Before I talk domestic football, let me quickly introduce to you Dumnadio Konta to my immediate right, and of course Ari Awurumibe to my far right. Ari, always a pleasure to have you around to talk National League and a little slice of women's football as well. The girls are traveling tomorrow. 17 girls are traveling tomorrow.
Yes.
To Portugal.
To Faro.
Train there and then hit the World Cup in Costa Rica.
As usual, as we do it in Nigeria. After 2 weeks.
Faro is a good camping ground for us.
Well, if the under-17 boys will come there and win the World Cup, why not the under-17 girls
go there and win the World Cup?
It's a tough task for them
to win the World Cup.
Sure.
Really. But let them just go there, gain the experience, and then be useful to the Falconets and be useful to the Falcons in the days ahead. I think that should be our target, really.
Which we've not done before. We've had series of
generation just
Flamingos and Falconets, and
nowhere to be found.
Who amongst them is playing in the Super Falcons? None. Can't find them.
All right. Okay. Let's touch on very quickly on domestic football. But let me start with the league management company and read out this press release that was sent out earlier today about the league management company announcing a new kickoff date for the new 2013-2014 Glo Premier League season. It was announced today after a meeting in Abuja to appraise reports from the stadium inspection teams. Some of the clubs are still grappling with peculiar constraints, including access to funding, validation of registration documentation, and the LMC chairman, Honorable Karabo, said because of all of these, they have given the clubs 2 weeks of grace to tidy up their documents for certification, and so the league is no longer starting next week. It is now starting on the 7th of March. But then there's a warning. There will be no further shift in date after the 7th of March. Remember, this league, this season is supposed to have kicked off last November. It was moved and moved and moved and moved. I hope this is the final movement, really, for the 2013-2014 Glo Premier League season. But we were able to also gather from the secretary of the league management company that there are a few things that the LMC are trying to put together as well for the new season. I hope we can also see that as we go on. They are trying to put a few things together for the clubs to ensure that we have a better football season this year than previous editions. Number one, if all the clubs are able to meet the conditions to play in the Premier League, registration will be free. That's according to the LMC. So once you're able to meet all those conditions, no need to charge registration fees anymore. Registration now becomes free. And the LMC have also said insurance cover will be provided to the clubs because that's a requirement from FIFA to the NFF to all the leagues. All players must be properly insured. The LMC is saying it will be provided free to the clubs. The LMC will provide insurance cover to the clubs. And then this one is in line with what I've been saying about structure, welfare of players. There will be a bridging pension scheme to be provided for players so that they are like proper employees who are able to save a few things, have a pension scheme, and something that they can fall on when they stop playing the round leather game. All right, so that's just quick bits from the secretary of the LMC and of course around the 2013-2014 Glo Premier League season. Let's go to Owerri, and thankfully that's an Owerri man with us on set tonight. Ari Awurumibe, Dumnadio Konta. You've also followed that land. We brought the story the other day. Payments of sign-on fee about 70%. How many percent? 70 million to pay 40% of the sign-on fees. They are also looking at a new technical advisor, Kelechi Emetole.
Well, he's returning to the club.
He was there before.
Their brightest moment
was
in a couple of years is Kelechi. Yeah, that was in 2009.
The history of Atlant is not complete without Kelechi Emetole.
Yes,
Caterpillar.
I think this is almost his fifth return to Atlant.
Fifth return.
Yeah, but I don't know. The last time I caught up with him, something just dropped into my mind during the Kano Foundation visit to the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital. Okay. That's at the Keja. He said Atlant had not paid him the last time he left Atlant. I don't know whether he has been paid because
he has cancelled it.
He has cancelled the bad debt. I don't know if they will pay because this is a man that left Atlant, went to Academy, did a quiet job, brought the team back to the Premier League, left them after the Federation Cup. Even at Academy, he said he was not good at Academy. He was paid all his money. But I think for Atlant, this is going to be maybe they're going back to those glory days. They want to see them return to where they almost won the CAF championship, not for that away goal by TP Mazembe in 2009. But I don't know whether you still have the same kind of player I had then. Because
let me talk to the insider, the man who knows the inside story. Are things turned for the better? Are you impressed?
From that side, you can say yeah, but there is one thing to make a pronouncement and another thing to implement it. It takes somebody who has the interest of what is going on. Clearly, for 3 years now, that team has been in very big mess financially. You know, no matter what anybody can do, it's only some people like us that will say it as it is, you know, without mincing words. Even while I was there, I've not shied away from saying the truth. The problem is that all those promises, until they cash the check, they cannot be sure of that money, because it's funny. I'm just telling you the truth.
The government will give a check that will not go through
until they cash it. Then the players, because it has become, you know, a recurring decimal. You know, that promises will be made to them and it's not kept. And those who are managing it are afraid to say the truth because they want to still hang around the team. Because let's face it, the players, check how many high-profile players that have left that team. Mosquito Ibenedu has left the team. Today they will say the goalkeeper Apeyi is leaving. The next day they say he's not leaving, he has left. Very high-profile players, and they are going for where the grass is greener. So, and it's unfortunate because that team is a traditional team. That team and Rangers International are the only two teams in Nigeria since professional football started in Nigeria that has not gone on relegation. They kept it by whiskers last year. So this time around, if that promises are kept well, and if what the league management company is doing, you know, I am so impressed with what Honorable Ndokorabo. I worked under him, you know, as a club reporter in the Guardian newspapers, and when he was editing the Guardian Express, where I started my journalism profession. He's a man that can drive, you know, those who are working with him. He has something to offer, and you can see it. Over the years, he has been in politics, and this, but his talent is just to do something to show, you know, from the country he comes from, that look, an individual can come and initiate things. They don't come easily like that. Even in entertainment, you can see what Tony Okoroji did with the Nigerian Music Award, and when he was removed from that distance, has Nigeria organized that again? Well, so back to Heartland will be well if that money is given to them. And with Kelechi Emetole, right? Kelechi was there when they got to the finals of the CAF Champions League, right? And he is a damn good grassroots coach. Okay, let's go quickly to the National League and tell you that the National League 2013-2014 season is starting this weekend. Tomorrow.
It's starting tomorrow. In fact, it started today. The 2013-2014 National League season started today.
Sure.
But then most of the games, only one game was played today, and most of the games will be played tomorrow and Sunday. We'll look at the fixtures of those games later on, and we'll talk about them in details. But let's tell you that a game was played today in Division B, and we'll have the result for you. Division B. Before we talk about the fixtures, let's talk about the result of today's game. We'll look at the details of these fixtures later, but let's just start off with the result of the game that was played today. Yes, that's it. Go round beating Prime of Oshogbo 1-0. It was a penalty goal that gave Go Round all 3 points. So the league is on, and Dumnodi, we've talked a lot about it. What are your expectations? You followed the National League last season. The clubs were pulling out, but things look like it will be different this time around.
Yeah, I'm going by the words of the Secretary of the Nigerian National League, even the chairman, High Chief Emeka Nyama. If they're able to, because there's wanting to say, like Harry said, say something and also to implement. I hope they'll tighten up those loopholes this time around, because we don't want the shenanigans of last season to serve this season. The implication of the National League that people don't take advantage of the fact that the National League, people that get promoted in the National League find themselves in the Glo Premier League. And you know, when you don't have a standard at that level, you think the Premier League is going to be the same Channel League. And if you cannot adjust, you find themselves coming back to the National League. I hope they will sort that out. A lot of big teams are in this division.
To the credit of the National League, all the teams that got promoted last time,
yes,
all of them survived and even acquitted themselves very well in the Glo League. Bayelsa United, Ekanemi Warriors of the Nimbe City survived narrowly, but they were still able to survive all the same.
Yeah.
And all the teams.
These are traditional teams, mind you. These are traditional teams. These are teams that Bayelsa have been there before. They got relegated. They were champions before.
Sure.
Academy, this traditional team, so they can muscle their way into the Premier League. But I'm talking of, let's get it right at this level, so that by the time this team get to the Premier League, because when you start having teams, you have one team midway into the first round, or one team pulled out, you fight the result for the other team. Second round, another team pulls out. That's one thing that the league board says this year it won't happen.